today I'm going to be doing a quick review on this palette. I've had this for about 2 months. I've done a few makeup looks with it. I will link them all below, as well as insert pictures at some point in this video of the looks that I've done using this palette. So those will be linked in the description box. This is the Color Workshop Ultimate Color Palette. It's 100 pieces. You get 78 eyeshadows, 16 lip glosses, and 3 blushes. And it did come with some sponge tip applicators and stuff, but I don't use those, so I threw them out. But this was $10 at Walmart, and I usually don't like the Color Workshop stuff anymore. They don't do a good job. The eyeshadows are very poor. They're not very pigmented and stuff like that. And usually they're extremely shimmery, all the eyeshadows. There's not a good mixtures of, you know, mattes and satins and like highlight colors, things like that. So my entire look today is done using this palette, blush, lips, and eyes. And yeah, so and if you don't know, the Color Workshop is distributed by Mark Wins, which are the same company that makes Wet n Wild makeup. So in this particular palette, there is several eyeshadows that are very similar to the Vanity Lust palette. What's the other one? I think it's called Greed, I think. But a lot of similar shades in this palette. So those have been discontinued. If you can't find those, then maybe check out getting this. The eyeshadows also, everything has a name, which is something that the Color Workshop has newly introduced, I believe, since maybe last year or the year before maybe. So I think that's a nice touch, that if you're going to do tutorials with this, you can actually say the names of the eyeshadows instead of first row, 3 over, you know, kind of thing. And I like that there is a good mixture of matte, satins, and shimmers in this eyeshadow palette. Now, a lot of the shimmery shadows, though, have the glittery overspray, and then once it's wiped away, it's kind of gone, but they're still shimmery. Some of the matte shades are chalky, but what palette isn't have at least probably one chalky eyeshadow? And for $10 you can't beat this. I'm super impressed with this palette, especially for the fact that it has a good array of colors, and the mattes and satins in here, I really like them. I've used several of the matte shades as well as the shimmery and satin colors. I've done a neutral look with this. I've done pink and gray, purples and blues, like a sultry, smoky eye, maybe some other things. Oh, and I done like an burnt orange look one day. Now, a couple of the looks I didn't take pictures of, but what I can tell you is I've been using it for 2 months, and this is the only palette that I've been picking up and using, if that tells you anything. And it does say that these are lip glosses, but they're pigmented. I'm wearing one now, this berry toned one right here for the holiday inspired makeup that I come up with. And I'm pretty impressed with those as well. They're not sticky, they're not drying on the lips, so I do like the lip glosses as well. The only thing that I can really say that I wasn't too impressed with are the blushes. They are pigmented, but when you go to put them on, you want to be really careful. They're really grabby, and they will just grab on to certain spots and just hang on. So you want to blend. You need a good buffing brush or some kind of stiffer bristle kabuki brush and blend it out really well, which is what I've done here. And I used the middle one. But they're good, but they're just really grabby, so be careful with that. And I really like that the shades are kind of spaced out and put into like groups of what gives you an idea of looks that you could do actually. Like if you want a taupey look, you know, you're going to want to be in this corner here and mixed with some berry tones, which is always nice. Your purples and blues together. And these colors down here, these matte ones, these three right here are like three almost identical shades from the Lust palette from Wet n Wild, which is always nice. They have a good array of colors to build and do a super smoked out smoky eye. Really sexy for winter with the red lips. So they have that, and of course you got some pretty greens in there, and you have a bunch of neutral shades, and an array of, like I said, shimmery satin and mattes. And I'm just extremely impressed with the quality of this eyeshadow palette for $10. And usually I don't do reviews on these palettes, but I got a request, and so I said if I find one that I like, I'll pick it up and we'll see. And so I found this one, and I am super impressed with the quality of this, and it being the Color Workshop from Walmart. Now's the time to look for this palette because of the holiday season is usually when they're in. So make sure you check your Walmart out for this. I mean, let me just swatch some of them for you. Like this blue, I think is, see, it's kind of chalky. And this one I'm wearing my crease today. It's really light. But it, the colors build up to beautiful colors if they're kind of sheer. The one that I just swatched obviously is very sheer, and I built it up in my crease. It looks really good. The oh, and one thing I almost forgot is in a palette, I always like to have a good transition color, which this one right here is makes for a really good transition color. This one down here, good highlight, it's matte. The transition color is also matte. And you can pair that with pretty much anything to tone. If you want to wear colors in your crease, you can tone it down by wearing a transition color of like a nude orangey kind of color. Not too orangey, of course, just a nude, matte nude eyeshadow basically. And a good black for your outer corner. And this one is pretty good. Like, it's not chalky at all, it's smooth, it's easy to blend out. I've used it in a few of my looks, and it's really nice that this palette has a good black highlight and transition color to go with any look that you would want to create in this. And yeah, so I got this palette for the price. It's definitely an A+ palette, especially if you don't have a lot of money to blow on palettes and stuff. Definitely try this one out. It has a lot of like I said, matte shimmery satins and lots of different colors. You get 78 eyeshadows, 16 lip glosses, and 3 blushes for $10. You can't beat that, and they're pretty good quality. So I would definitely recommend going and picking up this palette. Hopefully you can find it in your area. Hope you enjoyed the review and found it helpful, and thank you guys for watching.